Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Satisfactory Early Access Update 3. And we have done some work on the base, and I thought I would bring you back and show you what we've done. Obviously, I still have on our original base, everything is still working here. If we look, we're drawing about 200 out of 600 megawatts. We got tons of power, and we could actually build 8 more coal generators if we had to and get up to 1.2 gigawatts, so we're fine. What I've been working on is this sky bridge. Now, it's hideously ugly architecturally because there are no supports and everything's hanging in the air except for some parts I was able to run over the rocks. But I wanted to show you how we're all the way back at the base, and I have created a 2 foundation width walkway all the way to where the main base is going to be. We just walk up over everything. We're going to be able to drive over this. This is the 2 meter high incline, not the 4 meters, so it's a much easier climb for the vehicles. And so we'll just drive right up here, and we will be able to run straight over this sky bridge and up this slope and straight back to our base. There's some poison up there. There's a slug that we have to get at some point. I need to cut that tree down because it's encroaching. And there's another tree, I think, further up that's encroaching as well. But overall, I think this is pretty cool. I tried running this straight across to there, but unfortunately there's a huge rock in the way, and I don't really want to keep changing elevation. We're now at the elevation of the main base, right? So the rest of this, once we get up to that elevation, we're going to keep everything flat, or get down to that elevation, right? And then we're going to come into the main base using this bridge. Now, I've got some plans for the main base. I'm still working it out, and we're not going to do the final plan for a very long time because we've got to build multiple floors. I'm bringing some concrete back so we can do that. Why didn't I use the truck? Because the truck is over there. You can see it in the radar. I didn't drive it back because I had to build my way back. And it would have been a pain in the neck to get the truck up on here. So what I'm going to do is either I'll decompose it and put it up here, or I'll drive it back to here and then run it up using that incline. We're going to need a matching 2 meter high incline at the far end of the base to get it up on both sides, and I'll work on that over time. But what I try to do is have this kind of look like it's bolted into the rocks here. We're running over the top of the rocks. We just barely made this. I don't like that clipping, but I'm going to live with it. Down here, by the way, there's a Caterium mine. You see in the radar it says AU+. It's right under these rocks. I think I have a ramp here so I can show you. So there were some guys protecting it. We're going to want to put a miner on this soon. And now that we have the sky bridge, what we can do is we can put a miner on this. We can belt the Caterium up here and then just run the belt all the way along the sky bridge and put our constructors and stuff and our smelters over there in our base, right? So this is just the way to get up here. So now this continues all the way back to the base. So this is going to bring us to the limestone deposit, which we are currently mining. And right now, everything for that limestone deposit is right there. But what I want to do is belt it all the way over, and I'll show you guys. I have multiple storage containers and multiple constructors at the bottom of the base here. Now again, this is not the final configuration. It's just getting things up and running so that we get the concrete made. We need to make a lot of it because I'm making a massive base, and we need a lot of metal and a lot of concrete. We also have some iron deposits over there, and we're going to want to hook those up to smelters and get them running at full capacity. We have the power to do it, and I think they're pure, so we can have like 4 smelters on for each node, and I think there are 3 nodes, so we can have 12 smelters going. We can make like 6 iron plate things and, I don't know, 12 rods. But the idea is we're going to belt this over, and I've actually got the beginnings of the belts going, and I'm going to go ahead and build our way back. Now again, This is not the final configuration. Eventually we're going to have walls. We're going to have the conveyor belts running along the walls. What I may even do is bring them underneath. I think it was John Bain did a really cool one where he had pillars, right? And he built the pillars up from the ground, and then underneath, like hanging down from the platform underneath, he had conveyor walls that have holes in them, and there's 3 wide, and so we could do 6 wide and just run all the belts underneath, and then you just use this as our bridge to get from place to place. But we're not going to be able to do that now because we don't have everything from the Awesome Shop, right? When he was doing it, all of the walls came in the tier 2 research or tier 1 research that gave you walls and foundations. Right now, all you get is the basic walls, and you have to do the Awesome Sink and the Awesome Shop to get the better walls. Now they have much better walls than they used to, which is great, but it still takes all those extra resources to accomplish that. So what this is going to do is this is going to bring the limestone over to here, and my plan for this level of the base is to bring all the raw resources. There are only about 12 types of raw resources, so there's going to be tons of room on this floor to do this, and we're going to have like rows and rows and rows of storage containers that just have all the raw resources. So this is the beginnings of that, and I'm not, again, it's not the final configuration, but what I have here is I have like, what is this, 6 storage containers set up, and then they're going to shoot out. And right now we only have 120 speed, and we're going to be bringing in 180 or 240 limestone. So we're going to bring in 2 lines of 120. One is going to be from the distant ones, and this guy, they're going to come in here. We'll also have limestone over here, and I think there's another one over there. So we're going to bring in about 240. We're going to split them up to 220s, and then we're going to pipe them into here. And then I'll put a power thing in here once we have the ability to do that. I believe we should be getting the ability to manipulate the power in here soon. But what I plan to do, once we get that done, is up this so they're each taking 60 and putting out 20. And then they're going to merge into, so this will be 20 times 4 is like 80. They're going to merge into 120 belt. And then these 4 storage containers are going to store the concrete. Now in the future, that's not going to be happening. In the future, the constructors are going to be up on the next floor, right? So the floor above us is going to have, well, actually the floor above us is going to have smelters. The floor above that is going to have all the constructors. So I'm not exactly sure which floors and which wings we're going to do. Like I might just make a section out here that's just the construction wing for concrete, and we'll just belt them over to there. But eventually this floor is just going to have the raw limestone. And so the idea is to just try and get as much of this material here as possible so that we're making everything at our main base, and we're not, is this not powered? What's going on here? So we're making everything at our main base and not back at the old base where we started out. Now the other thing I want to do is check out the Awesome Shop. And I also want to show you our space elevator. So let me run over there. I'm going to build my way over there, and then I will bring you guys back. Alright guys, we are back. We're at the Awesome Sink, and we now have 10 coupons in addition to the 3 we already have. So we now have 13. We should be able to buy a whole bunch more cool stuff. So this is what I'm talking about. We need these conveyor walls, and we need both of those. We need the metal doors. I definitely want windows. Attachments, we have the conveyor wall mount. I want the wall power. We also want the different foundations. So I think we're going to want the corner ramp pack for sure. Can we get those? Why? Oh, we have these already. The expanded foundation's okay. So what do we need? Walls. Can't get any of those. We can get that. And I think that is 13. Excellent. So now we have expanded foundations. So that includes corner ramps. I wish they had an actual corner foundation, right? Rather than just a corner ramp. I wish they had a one that would allow you to make a 45-degree turn. That would be pretty awesome. So our crystal is going along. We're creating all this crystal, which means I think in the MAM we can do some more research. So let's try that. Where's our MAM? I thought we had a MAM out here. Here it is. Oh, that's a workshop. Did we put the MAM out here? Oh, wait a minute. I put it at the other place. Can you really only have one? I thought you could have as many as you wanted. Huh. Well, that's interesting. I don't think I took it down purposely. Let's try it. So if we put a MAM here, and then we put it here, will it make the other one disappear? No. That's strange. I could have sworn that I had a MAM out here. Alright. So, quartz. So now we're researching crystal oscillators, so we have that. And then we can't do any more there. I think we're basically stopped here. We need to put power slugs. Oh, that's it. So let's do overclock production. So that will allow me to overclock things. Meanwhile, while all this is happening, and all these guys are doing their stuff, I have cleaned up to some degree. Obviously, it doesn't look pretty yet, but I have to some degree cleaned up the bridge going up to the space elevator, and I've made the space elevator kind of a little bit prettier. So let me show you that. So here is our new way up, and what you're going to see is we are now bridged all the way across, right? So now it is just like our sky bridge. It is continuous. We simply follow our own route up. We don't have to use the terrain. No risk of falling off, hopefully. And I'm probably going to make this double wide the way I did with the others. Here's more limestone, the way I did with the other bridge. So this limestone is going to need to be gotten all the way over there. My guess is I'm going to route it along this side for now. And so we're going to just take this and bring it down to there and then route it over that way. And, you know, it's a little hard setting up the belts, but once the belts get going and the production line starts, it doesn't matter how far you belt things. Eventually we get trains, and trains can carry items. I could also use the truck to truck things. I just like belts. So we're going to use that a lot. Now this is a 4-meter incline rather than 2. It's pretty steep, but trying to do the 2-meter incline all the way down there would just, it would take like until out there to get to the level we want. And it's just too much, so I went with the steeper incline here since we're not going to be driving vehicles up. And then this is a shallower incline, and now we get to the space elevator. And now, guys, I was able to kind of do sort of what I wanted. It's not perfect, but we now have a ramp around the entire thing. And the other thing I wanted to do, because we still have this level to get that we can get up to, is I want to at some point build ramps down from there or up from here. But so we have a ramp going all the way around, so it can't fall off. And now I want to show you what the space elevator is going to need. So this is where we're going to have to really ramp up our production. Once I've brought everything to the base, then we're going to start doing the production. So what the space elevator needs is, remember last time it wanted 50 smart plates, now it wants 500. Now they make it, a single assembler makes it 2 a minute. So it would take 250 minutes or about 4 hours. That's nothing. I've been in this game for 17. So it's no big deal. If I started making spark plates with a single assembler right now, long before I was finished making the bottom floor of this base, we would have the smart parts. But we're also going to need to make the versatile framework and the automated wiring. And I'm not even sure where you get that. We don't have the patterns for that right now. All we have is the smart parts. We don't have the other parts. So we're going to have to get to work on that as well, and we're then going to need assemblers for that also. So my intention, the assemblers are going to be, so if we figure the bottom floor is storage of raw materials. The second floor is going to be smelting. The third floor is going to be construction. The fourth floor is going to be assemblers. So the assemblers will be on the fourth floor. That'll be starting to get up there. That'll be about, well, let's see. So I'm gonna make the floors about 4 high. So we can figure out exactly like how high the assemblers are going to be. It's pretty far down, but it's going to be a lot higher than the base floor. Right, so the base floor is, this is going to be at about the third floor, right? And then this will be right around here, will be about the fourth floor. So the assemblers are going to be around, somewhere around this height, right? And then all they're going to have to do is push their parts up here into this base elevator. And that is enough parts that it may be worth just pouring them in there instead of me carrying them up. Because I think I can only carry like, that's going to be like 30 stacks of stuff, which I guess I could carry by hand. But in any case, so we got our limestone here. We're definitely going to want to put a miner on that and start bringing that in. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the limestone started from over there into these constructors, and I'll bring you back when I have that set up. Alright guys, and we are back. It's a little bit ugly here, you know, I always say that. But what I'm working on is a scheme for this sky bridge. And what I've decided to do is use actually the wall mounts, which you can attach to walls just about anywhere you want now. It used to be that they actually had a wall with a mount right here, and that was all they had, but now you can kind of put them anywhere you want. So ultimately what's going to happen is this thing is going to shoot across here, then there's going to be a lift coming up through the hole in the wall here, and then it's going to go out, but I don't have that wall yet. So the limestone is going to come along here, and this is a Mark II belt, so it's way faster than this limestone needs it to be, but eventually we're going to merge other limestone in here probably, so I figured what the heck will you do a Mark II belt. I've got enough room. I mean, you could actually put another mount here, and it may be that with the raw materials we can make them that close. The question is whether the ore is gonna look like it's colliding. I don't think it will though. Yeah, I mean, if you crouch down, this is fine. So we can get up to 4 of these on a single wall. We could get 2 walls high on this bridge, so we could have 8 on each side, right? And that would still give us from here to about here, like more than a foundation width of room in between to walk or drive. So how cool would it be to have like 8 belts on this side, 8 belts on this side, all bringing stuff from over there to the base? I just think that is going to look super awesome. Now you may want to wonder like what's going to happen in between. These are every 5 foundations, so there's 5 foundations in between each one. Actually, there should be 4 foundations in between each one, so I think I did that one wrong. But in between here, we're going to use the glass walls and just make it look pretty. And I haven't decided exactly how that's going to work. We'll just see aesthetically. But so now this thing should be bringing our limestone, our raw limestone ore, straight to these conveyor belts, straight to these storage containers, and you can see we're almost there. It's going to go straight to the storage containers, and then from this storage container it's going to head out and over here, and it will merge and then split right there, right here, and then it's going to go to these constructors, so we just have to wait for it to get in here. And this is a Mark II belt, so it should come in pretty fast. And there it goes. So we can get one more limestone source, belt it to here, merge it, and then we will have enough to run these two constructors at full power. And full speed. Right? In fact, we can run them overclocked. So here we go. The constructors get started. And then they're going to put the concrete here. And then it is going to be so much faster, guys, to pick up concrete and construct stuff in our base. You might also notice I've used up most of the concrete that I had. We have a whole lot of this base filled in now. You can see how big this is going to be. So that is going to be awesome. Another thing I did was, since we had actually filled out all 3 storage containers of crystal, so I'm piping some of that into the awesome sink as well, because they make the crystal so fast that, and we don't need it yet, that I figured it's worth it. And the next thing we got to do is get the conveyor walls that have the holes in them, so that we can, and then the glass, and then we can start prettying this up and make it look like an actual sky bridge. But that's a long way away, and we've got a lot more work to do. So, so a couple things I want to do. One is I want to put the miner on this thing and bring limestone in here from there. And then I also want to put, there are 4 pure, I think, iron nodes and 2 copper nodes over there. I want to get that ore in here and get stuff started being manufactured here in our main base. And then all I'm going to do is pipe the ore from over in the original base through here. Again, we're going to have to obviously beef up this sky bridge as well. The other thing I want to show you is the new ramps. And I'm going to bring you over to where I did the work on the sky bridge over here, and I'll show you how that changes the look of things. I will be right back with that. Alright guys, we're back, and what I want to do is show you the difference between the new double ramps and the old way of doing things. So what you can see here is this is the ramp that I built, and normally you would have this, you would have to put like this 2 meter high underneath a 2 meter high ramp. I did that on the other side, and then once you do that you can snap these to their adjacent angled one. But what these new ramps look like, which is pretty cool, so you can see behind here what it looked like before, right? That stair step is not very attractive. But now what you can do with this double ramp is that, and it's got the ramp underneath as well as on top, so it makes a really nice smooth grade. Is that not awesome? So obviously I'm going to want to clean this all up and make it all look like that. I'm not going to make you guys watch it. I'm not necessarily going to do it right now, but it definitely makes it look nicer than the stair step, right? And so when you look at it from a distance, it'll be nice and smooth. Now you still need obviously support. We're going to want to put support under here and under there and that kind of thing to make it look architecturally reasonable, but I think that is going to look so much nicer as we build our base. So I will start working on that and do some other things with the base. I feel like we've done enough this episode. One of the things I want to do is start getting the walls and the materials going so that we can pipe all of our raw ore up with a belt, and that's going to take a while. I'm not going to do that immediately. And I think what I may actually do, since we have a bunch of good nodes back at the base, is just shut this, let this run, but mostly let this fly fallow and move everything up to the base, do all the production up at the base, and then when I have time I will come and run all the belts up to the base from this area. I don't want to let this completely stop, because if you let it completely stop, all the creatures will respawn, so I really don't want that. Anyway, I will keep doing some building and keep working on our skyways and our base, and I will bring you back when I've got some new cool stuff. We're also going to have to work on basic steel production, but before we do that, I've got to get the assemblers going to make the modular frames, and we've got to start making more of the smart parts. So we've got a whole bunch of work to do, and we're going to need more coal generators and everything else. But that's enough for this episode, and I will see you next time. I am Scarpalock, and this has been Satisfactory.